everyone. Can you hear me? I think so. So, welcome back to All Kinds of What Have You, the February installment. We call it Post Love, since we're just about 10 days out from the Valentine's thing. There we go. Now, a little bit of a small crowd tonight, and I bet that's because you got the heads up that Brendan can't make it. He's not feeling well. So this is for you, Brendan, and I hope you all enjoy the show, and we're going to just take it one step at a time. And I believe we're going to start with Mr. Robert Daulton. Whenever you're ready, just give me a sign.
Yeah. Today's letter is B, which, as everybody knows, must stand for Brendan, but it also stands for blouse space.
But for the few people who might not know, blouse space is the k-dimensional system generated by regarding the sociodemographic variables as dimensions rather than as variables. Each locus in blouse space is a point described by k coordinates. The relationships among points are defined by distances in the coordinate system. Blouse space is spatial because the distance between positions are the primary focus rather than the relationship among variables.
And blouse space is based upon the theories of the now deceased sociologist Peter Blau, who happened to be the father of a therapist I was briefly seeing in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts named Pamela Blau, who was not deceased, as I gradually discovered in therapy. When I told Barrie about blouse space, first she said, "Wow." And then she said, "Wow, Blau." And then, "Wow, Blau." Again and again, as she were in some kind of trance. And maybe she was.
Wait, I have no memory of this conversation. I can't imagine ever saying, wow, wow. Do you think you might be misremembering? Or maybe I had the conversation, but I was talking to myself and I didn't realize you were in the room.
I guess that's possible, although I can't recall ever being in the same room as anybody ever. Or maybe I was in the room, but we weren't in the same room at the same time. Is that possible?
Or maybe I was actually in the room, but I was also in blouse space at the same time. And maybe I told you about blouse space when I returned. And maybe you were the one who said, wow, blow, wow, blow, wow, blow, over and over and over again, as if in a trance.
I guess that's possible, but even if that conversation never ever happened, you would have told me that blouse space was an excellent space, and you would have said it was a chamber of wonderment. And you would have said, blouse space sounds like a place to go, wherein you could also be somewhere else, like if one was on a Zoom call, for example. You could be on a terrible Zoom call and be struggling with staying on it at all. And you might say to yourself, wow, I think I'll just go off to blouse space and recalibrate for a while. So off you went to your idea of blouse space. And when you returned,
I gave it a great review in my mind.
you did? You never told me that.
Yes, I did. In my mind, I read you the entire review, and then you asked me to read it again, but more slowly so you could take better notes.
I'll have to look through my notes, but for now, would you mind telling me what your review said, Barrie?
Certainly, Robert. It said, I love how blouse space is so full of every shade of blue and how that makes perfect sense because of how much the word blouse sounds like the word blue. I love the balconies of blouse space too. On a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of appealing mysteriousness, I give it a 10. Dreaminess, 7. Murkiness, 5.5. Potential to be amazing, 100.
Wow. That sounds familiar. Such a glowing review. Hey, do you think glowing reviews glow in the dark?
Yes, I use them in place of flashlights sometimes.
And didn't the review end with you saying you would gladly go back to Blouse Space as a return customer?
Indeed. Hey, Robert, isn't it strange that the word custom is inside the word customer? That probably means that a customer is a maker of customs, or at least a participant involved in customs. I wonder what the customs of Blouse Space are.
I'm not sure. I do know that Peter Blau's most famous quote is, and I quote, "One cannot marry an Eskimo if there are no Eskimos around," end quote. And I guess that's true of marrying anybody or doing anything with anybody. They have to be around. Yeah, that's the last part of custom, the part, the not knowing. And just out of curiosity, do you think people cut pills in Blouse Space? Do you think they had pill cutters around?
Cut pills? Why, Robert, what could you possibly mean?
Well, I was shopping around for a pill cutter on Amazon, and I found this one that got like 7,000 5-star reviews, the Easy Cut pill cutter with the built-in magnifier. And there was this one review that kind of sold it for me. Would you mind if I read it?
Of course.
Actually, I think I would feel more comfortable if you read it. Do you mind?
Sure. Here we go. I am not the kind of person who writes customer reviews, but I feel so strongly about this pill cutter that it would be irresponsible for me not to tell you what I truly feel. I realize that people have had various experiences with this. So since I do split many pills a day, I tried multiple things to see if I could create an easier and more accurate way to split my pills. First, this product is constructed very, very well. The plastic is heavy duty also. In many pill cutters, the plastic guard is a very flimsy plastic that ends up failing after a few weeks/months. This product uses a very secure plastic that is almost as thick as the outside that slides to cover the blade when not in use. I found this reassuring as I felt more protected, both physically and psychologically. Also, the tab that pushes in is very high quality and can be accessed both from the top as well as the bottom to move the tab in or out to match the pill being cut. I found the pill cutter to be very accurate. In all honesty, with any pill cutter, there will be some ambiguity in the sides because they are using a razor blade to cut through the material. When you have pills that are very hard, there will be some small pieces that chip or residue that ends up on the blade or inside the cutting space. I have accepted that as understandable. After the years of cutting pills, I find this cutter cuts very evenly and have found that altering the way I cut has had good results. I have started to place my pills on their side so the cutting surface is reduced in order to reduce miscutting or chipping my pills. This has really helped, and I am including pictures to demonstrate. Also, I cut using a very smooth push and not overly hard, so there is an even amount of force pushing the pill into. Another great aspect of this is there's an alternating tab system to open it. I've had many pill systems that are hard to open, but this you just twist your fingers and it opens up. When I am cutting several dozen pills at the beginning of the month, this makes it very easy. Lastly, I waited over a month to write the review so I could see how it handled 2 rounds of cutting, and it has performed wonderfully. It is working exceptionally well still, and I think that is worth every penny and more. Good luck with your purchase. It is hard enough to be in the situation to have to need one of these, especially given everything going on, but at least it makes the activity easier and more efficient. Good wishes to you all, Sam.
Dear Sam, thank you for your excellent and enlightening, inspiring review. I have to cut a small pill into thirds, and it is a soft, round, small pill, and it has its own demarcation with the line in the pill for cutting it in half. And the idea of standing it on its side was brilliant. I just thought it might shatter because of the natural demarcation line, might make pill splitting more difficult. The only other method would be to crush the pill into dust since it's so soft and splits into thirds. Messy, time consuming, but could work. Any thoughts? Thanks, Ellie.
Dear Ellie, thank you for your kind words about my review. I was so afraid you might not like it and how that might harm our relationship if we should have one, but I neglected to mention that I have often used my cutter for small pills that I have cut into quarters for my cat. So it's very critical for me to use a cutter that holds little pills in position. And yes, it does an excellent job with that as well. But I must say it doesn't always split the pills evenly, and it shatters the edges. So you get pill dust and unevenly cut pills. It just doesn't seem sharp enough to cut cleanly. Warmly, Sam.
Dear Sam, honestly, it was such a pleasure reading your review, and an even greater pleasure reading your review in response to my review of your review. But I must admit, I'm now slightly confused. When you mentioned that the pill cutter does not always split pills evenly and sometimes shatters the edges into pill dust, I thought that was in direct contradiction to what you wrote earlier. You described it as accurate, and you said that it performed wonderfully. Now you're telling me that it isn't so accurate and it isn't sharp enough, which does not sound so wonderful. So if you could please clarify if it is accurate or inaccurate, that would be very helpful to me. Please not take this the wrong way. I know that sometimes in the excitement of writing your first review, it can be difficult to organize one's thoughts. Warmly yours, Ellie.
Dear Ellie, I have to apologize for the mixed signals I was giving in my earlier review. I'm really glad that you called it to my attention. I just have a lot going on right now, and maybe I will tell you more once we get to know each other. But for now, I have to say that I'm blown away by how much we have in common. I also have to cut pills for my cats, Zantac, benazepril, methimazole, etc. And it has been a hit and miss operation until now. This particular design holds the pill in place until the cut is made. No more problems with the pill skittering to one side just as the blade comes down. Guess I'm just lucky. Very warmly yours, Sam.
Dearest Sam, I can't tell you how wonderful it is to hear from you again. I don't know if it's fair to say that people who have to cut pills for their pets are all that lucky. I sincerely hope you have other kinds of luck in your life. But this is totally amazing. My 3 cats are also named Zantac, benzapril, and methimazole. I guess those must be popular names for cats of their generation. I wonder if they're from the same litter. Affectionately yours, Ellie.
Dearest Ellie, I really wish you were here to help me out. I accidentally spilled half of my bottle of xyloprim down the sink, and insurance only allows me 30 pills per month. So now I have to cut my remaining pills into eighths. And I am so anxious about this that my hands are shaking, and I'm having a really difficult time holding a steady grip on my pill cutter, which I wish I would have known about before I wrote my original review. Oh, Elle, I only wish you were here. Pleadingly, Sam. P.S. I think we may have a little misunderstanding. Zantac, Benazepril, and Methimazole are the names of pills I am trying to cut. My cats are actually named Ivan, Dimitri, and Alosha.
Oh, Sam, how I wish I could be there too. But just know you're not alone in your pill cutting woes. If you thought you were a mess, you should have seen me when I was down to my last dose of moxifloxacin. I felt like throwing myself off a cliff, but you can imagine how difficult it is to find a decent cliff out here in Indianapolis, LOL. Anyway, I really wish I could be there for you, and if I could, I totally would. You've come to mean the world to me, Sam. You really have. Maybe soon I can drive out to wherever it is that you live. Maybe after we're both vaccinated. Hopefully soon.
Yes, I'd like that.
Great, Sam. Hey, Barrie, would you mind if we took a little break from Sam and Ellie? Like, can we be us again?
Oh, that's a great idea. I think it's time. But maybe now, as us, as Robert and Barrie, we should get back to Peter Blau and Blau space. I mean, do you think there's more to say? I wouldn't want anyone to get the wrong impression.
Yeah, there's always more to say.
I'm having a hard time thinking of what exactly to say. Though, whenever I can't think of anything to say, I automatically recite a limerick. Would you like to hear a limerick?
Yes, please.
Okay. There once was a vampire from Florida who hated blood. Oh, he abhorred it. He wanted some shellfish, but he knew it was selfish, so he settled for marrying an otter.
Whoa, that was awesome, Barrie.
Thank you. I'm so glad you liked it. Robert, aren't otters cute? I myself wouldn't want to marry one, but I'd love to see one.
Yeah, me too. Otters. What could be cuter than an otter? Hey, would you like to hear a Peter Blau Zen koan mathematically, sociologically inspired limerick I just thought of that summarizes everything in this convoluted, myopic, yet somehow pleasing way?
Most definitely. I love limericks like that.
Great. All right, here goes. There once was a k-dimensional system endowed with points defined by a spatial relationship of coordinates. When it combined global level processes of spatial networks, it fell down to the floor, and the coordinates became macro structural entities in Blau space.
Cool. Good one.
Thank you, Robert and Barrie, for that extremely satisfying adventure. Maryam, I'm wondering if you could make me the host. Let's all take a little breath. Okay. Nice to see you all here. I'm going to start out with a little question. Let's see, Maryam, am I the host? I can't.
You are.
I am. Thank you. I like to host. And I'll share it back later. So my first question for everyone is, it's like a little rating thing. So you're going to put a number in the chat between 1 and 10. How would you rate yourself? How much of a keeper do you think you are? Like with, 1 being like, what's her name, Marie Kondo, and 10 being hoarders. Put a number in the chat between 1 and 10. How much of a keeper do you think you are? Wow. 1, 7. I'm going to have to weigh in, I think, sadly, at about 9. Alan, somebody beat my 9. Nice. And someone else has changed. All right, so wait first. Just gonna do this real quick. Okay, so the next question is, what are you most likely to hang on to? Like if you had a professional organizer come, like what would you be pushing back to keep? Nice, Mary. That's tough to have someone throw away. CDs. All right, Ruth Ann. I just read that CDs are actually coming back. They're not. They're not coming back. Maybe I didn't read that. I did read it, but it was wrong. Thank you. It's important to filter the news as right and wrong. Records like the ones you play, nice assortment. Leave some clothes, picks, globes, lights, books, records, kids' art, phones, nice assortment. Okay. So remember these? I was hoping you could see. I don't think you can. I got this kind of mutant box of hearts that only have like half of a word on them. They kind of just, the words just kind of fall off the edge. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can almost see that E there. So the last the very, very last white rhino is dead, right? He died. The male, the very last male white rhino has gone. But there's a couple of females left, a mother and a daughter, and they live in like a sanctuary in Kenya. And there's a couple of very, very dedicated guys who take care of them. And they call them the girls. And they know just where and how they like to be scratched. These guys are kind of ostracized by the villagers because it's like a lowly job. But I don't think it's lowly. I think it's kind of holy. Midwifing a creature into extinction. So I'm going to show you Virginia Woolf. Actually, I'm just going to show you a picture of her, but you're going to hear her voice as soon as I can share my screen. Let's see. Patience, guys. Okay. Share. So you're going to hear her talking about how language changes and how meaning fades. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stop the share because I think I had to select something where you can hear the audio. Here, share sound. All right, let's try that again. Okay, it's weird. Sorry. It worked really, really well before. So give me 1 second. Aw. Okay.
Words.
We don't
Words.
see it, Dani.
You don't see it. You just see
No.
me looking around.
No, we see I saw a white screen. Maybe when you share screen, you have to choose which window it's being shared. Did you do that?
Yeah,
Or-
I'm gonna try that. So
Dani, you're on camera. We can see you.
yeah.
So if yeah, you're cool. I'm not seeing white at all. Okay.
Okay, thank
Love
you.
you, dear. You're doing a great job.
Here we go. Let's see, share sound. Do you see her now?
Yes, it works.
All right, I'm gonna try full screen, which is what I was trying to do. Okay, you see her now?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you, Maryam. So here we go. What was I saying? I was saying that this is Virginia Woolf, her actual voice, recording of her voice, talking about language changing and meaning fading and words and worlds that disappear.
Words, English words, are full of echoes, memories, associations. They've been out and about on people's lips, in their houses, in the streets, in the fields, for so many centuries. And that is one of the chief difficulties in writing in today. They're stored with other meanings, with other memories, and they have contracted so many famous marriages in the past. The splendid word incarnadine, for example, who can use that without remembering multitudinous seas? In the old days, of course, when English was a new...
The world is a beautiful place to be born into if you don't mind happiness not always being so very much fun. If you don't mind a touch of hell now and then, just when everything is fine, because even in heaven, they don't sing all the time. The world is a beautiful place to be born into if you don't mind some people dying all the time, or maybe only starving some of the time, which isn't half so bad if it isn't you. Oh, the world is a beautiful place to be born into if you don't much mind a few dead minds in the higher places, or a bomb or two now and then in your upturned faces, or such other improprieties as our name brand society is prey to, with its men of distinction and its men of extinction and its priests and other patrolmen and its various segregations and congressional investigations and other constipations that our fool flesh is heir to. Yes, the world is the best place of all for a lot of such things as making the fun scene and making the love scene and making the sad scene and singing low songs of having inspirations and walking around looking at everything and smelling flowers and goosing statues and even thinking and kissing people and making babies and wearing pants and waving hats and dancing and going swimming in rivers on picnics in the middle of the summer and just generally living it up. Yes. Yes. But then, right in the middle of it, comes the smiling mortician. That was Lawrence Ferlinghetti, who just died the other day at age 101. Okay, so can you guys see this? This rock? You look at it a certain way. I just picked it up today. So, right at the border of India and China, there's people who've been fighting for a very, very long time over a glacier, fighting about who owns that glacier. And the way they fight is they throw rocks at each other, right? They pick up rocks on the ground that the glacier has left when it melts. Now what you're going to do is see if you can make a sentence or two using as many of the words that you remember from the cards. Go. A sentence or two in the chat using as many of the words that you remember from the cards. Spilled my socks in the sea. I used my socks to wipe up the spilling sea. I spilt milk. The sea spills something. Multitudinous seas and Carnadine snores. Out on the sea, socks wet. I spilled something on my socks. I changed my socks after the sea spill. So Virginia Woolf had rocks in her pockets when she walked into the water, into wordlessness. Into her own extinction. And can you imagine that a so-called naturalist, upon seeing what he knew was the very last dodo bird in the world to exist, shot it? Kind of overcome by a desire to pluck something from the world and keep it. But you can't keep it. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Share my screen. High on a rocky ledge lives the little Edelweiss. Shy as a shadow, lovely as lace and cold as ice. High on a rocky ledge, I pledge my love to her every time I climb up to paradise. How many times I've been up to see her, no one knows. Huffing and puffing, dressed in the warmest climbing clothes. How many chances would be taken in my hopeless pursuit of hopeless pursuit of Thank you all. It's been wonderful having you. And now, gonna give you the host back, Maryam.
Thank you.
I can find you.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Yes.
In all
Yeah.
of the circus, my job is the best. I simply sit here in a pool of light and make a display of my belly and my chest. And this is what I do most every night. The townsfolk come to marvel and to point. Don't hesitate to tell me what they think of my free inclination for to appoint myself the great ambassador of ink. Each image here, a chapter of my life, a chronicle of where I've been and when, the wonders I've seen, my storm and my strife, my tears and my joys, and it's all permanent. They tell a tale of adventure at sea, of explorations north, south, east, and west. The people I've loved and those who've loved me, now etched immortal here upon my breast. I've been to Kaffa and to Zanzibar. I've been even to the Straits of Hormuz. For years I've wandered both near and afar and journeyed about wherever I choose. I've crossed the equator 10 times at least, dipped my toe in the great Caspian Sea. I've been to the west, I've been to the east. You might not think it to look upon me. I've crossed vast deserts and tropical lands. I've slept in the land of the midnight sun. Great jewels of the Orient passed through my hands. And I once went to Cairo just for fun. I've watched glaciers calve in the great northern sea and prospected for gold in the Transvaal. I've witnessed the folly of so damn many. It's a wonder I should be here at all. A colorful translation of my art. So gather close and touch if you wish, and trace your fingers here across my heart, and seal this sweet transaction with a kiss. And thus we say, good night. Have a lovely time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Matthew. And thank you all for coming. It was great to spend this time together here in this electronic space. And if you want to hang out, you're welcome to hang out and chat. Some of you I haven't seen for a long time. Otherwise, wait a couple months till the next one. We'll keep you posted. And Brendan, if you're here, I hope we did you proud. Feel better, buddy. I hope you feel better very, very soon. Everybody give good vibes to Brendan to get really well, really fast. Big hand for all the performers. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming. Yeah, I'm going to put on gallery view, and if you want to turn your mics on and hang out, you're welcome to. Oh, I see all these little post-it